even in the days of Colossus Void Ray, he was one of the best at some of those builds, really punishing Zergs with them. So, maybe we see something like that, but looks like he has gone into Glaives and then 2 Stargate, which will be scouted immediately by Armani, and that is very important, but this is still a very solid build, and you can go multiple ways with this. You can absolutely go into a macro game with Adept with 2 Stargate, or you can try to hit like kind of a timing attack type thing where you overwhelm, and it looks like he wants to go into that macro type of play.
Yeah, I mean, Armani is the guy that said that he is super comfortable heading into that late game, getting his macro on, and at least when it comes to his intelligence, decision-making, he's already proven that is on par. So now he just has to make it late enough to get where he is comfortable to take this victory for Trap. Maybe not going to let him get there. First 4 Adepts coming forward there. They do have their shades about to run out, so probably just a poke, and yeah, just heading right back out.
At least seeing pretty much what's going on. Phoenix is going to be the air unit of the day here for Trap. His Glaives are about to finish. He has a very solid amount of Adepts right now, so definitely going to have to see some other units coming out of Armani, who, by the way, is making 5 Spores. I really like the fact that he is not skimping on this whatsoever.
Yeah, and I mean, people argue, hey, every time you make a Spore, you're killing a drone for free that they don't have to. Well, yeah, but it's, kill 1 drone to make a Spore, to save a bunch other. Completing that shade all the way on in there. So many Lings in perfect position, and I mean, Trap's not going to get a lot out of that.
Without a question, that was a mistake to allow that shade to finish, and I feel like he had enough vision. That might have just been an accident. If he goes in a different angle, the Lings are not going to get the surround there.
I don't even think he killed 1 drone with that, so not even.
No, he killed some Lings and stuff, but that was, like, you can't really sacrifice that many early on. Oh, my God.
Oh, no, it's another Zealot on a diet. Not big enough to block the ramp, and oh my God, he's going to lose more Adepts.
This is so bad right now.
Forced to pull probes. Now he's the one losing workers after the harassment that he was trying to put on.
This is a terrible situation right now for him. Like, oh my gosh.
Even with as many drone drills as you want to try out, it's just not going to be enough. And just things in shambles here for Trap. Armani could not ask to be in a better position.
Yeah. Still some more Phoenixes being produced, so that is quite a few of them, but with the amount of Adepts he's lost, he just lost some mining time there. He does have his 3rd base up, which is nice, but I am liking where Armani's at and where his head is at, getting these upgrades as well. He's getting into this later game very cleanly.
Okay, well, yeah, not even microing those Phoenixes to get additional drone kills, even just like sniping a few on gas could have been possible, but now coming back in with a further push. We'll see how effective this is. Actually going to use those lifts, Graviton Beams, picking up Queens, but he's not able to kill it. It drops back down, it gets transfused.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting the way he did that, but you know what? He got the Adepts into the main base cleanly. There are some Lings waiting here, but the Adepts kill those very, very easily, and now he's starting to hit the 3rd base as well.
Okay, this could actually be dangerous. I mean, Armani was in a great spot, but if he does lose too much to these Adepts, he might not be able to recover.
I liked where he was at, but this is starting to get some serious damage. Finally, some Hydra's popping out, but Hydra's not necessarily that good against Adepts. You definitely need quite a big ball of them to punish those Adepts. And with these Phoenixes here, the Hydras have to hide.
Literally called Hydras.
Yeah. Oh, man. Trap kind of pulling this game right together now.
And even with double Spores in a lot of his expansions, I think he's got 2 at his 3rd and main. That's still going to be a decent amount of damage. Queen's there to poke them back away, but I mean, losing 15 drones at this spot, I mean, maybe that does equalize things. Well, I don't know. How do you like to judge that when one player loses army but the other loses economy?
Well, it kind of just matters what unit comps we're seeing. But hold on, we actually have more Lings running into here, and that means that he's going to lose quite a bit of economy himself.
Oh, no.
Trying to warp in, and luckily he does have some overcharges coming out, but 10 probes. Wow, that's really, really good. But look, in a situation like this, like if you can keep the Zerg low, that's nice. The thing that I'm afraid about is we're going to have 2-2 on these Ling Bane, and if he gets enough Hydras that the Phoenixes can't do very much, the Banelings will clear this army. We don't see any Archons, we don't see any Storm, and that's really the 2 ways that you're going to be able to deal with Banelings.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're going to be seeing coming up, at least should be. And okay, we'll see if this queen actually does get taken out. Yeah, okay, that time. Second time's the charm. And he will be just shaving off a few things here or there. But in the meantime, having to pull all the way back to deal with the Zergling run-by has given the opportunity for Armani, like you said, to get to the critical mass of Hydras that he needs to be defensive. And here comes the Warp Prism.
Well, Storm is on the way. That's really important. If he can keep him very busy with these Phoenixes and let that Storm finish, as well as enough High Templars to actually have some Storms, that can do loads of work against this army.
We'll see if he is able to get those done. He was kind of forced into the most awkward Storm timing in his previous series. He was about to complete the Storm research, but had to morph his High Templar instead. Now he actually has tons of juicy High Templars out there. Storm just seconds away from completing, and this is exactly where Trap wants to be.
Look at this macro play by Armani. He's starting the Lurker Den, right? So not only does he have really fantastic upgrades and 4 bases, but I love this add of a Lurker Den. If you look at the type of units that he's fighting against, it's such a smart move. Like, you can outmaneuver them as Trap. It's not like Trap's in a bad position right now, but I feel like this Lurker is the perfect type of defense, and in fact, eventually the perfect type of attack as well to fight this off. One thing he definitely has to look out for, though, is Phoenix Lifts. Those are very good against Lurkers.
Yeah, wisely adding more Spore Colonies, recognizing there's a lot in the air that he will have to be aware of, trying to run the drones around to limit casualties, and indeed he will, cleaning this up actually pretty well.
Yeah. Just coming up and everything. Has those additional spores and spines up here. Oh, no.
Oh
my God.
No,
oh my God.
All but one Phoenix.
That is... I wish I could see Trap's face.
Oh my God.
Because, look, Phoenixes are really good against Lurkers. You can just lift cancel, and the Lurkers are all popped out of the ground, and suddenly your ground army is not taking any damage. To lose all those is such a big deal.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Armani's got a blank space. He just, wrote the name. He's got a death note, and he, writes the name of the Phoenix in there. And just well, all of a sudden, they're all just going to die right now. And Trap's just well, no, they're not. I'm flying them around the map. And just well, not if you're not moving them over those Hydras.
Oh, man. Well, lots of Banes out right now. Lurkers have been morphed as well. But a Fleet Beacon's on the way. Which is really cool.
Well, this time we get a chance to answer the question we had in mind the last time Trap built the Fleet Beacon. He didn't survive long enough to really put it to use, so maybe this time we get a chance to see what he had in mind.
Yeah, and the thing is, Tempests are not terrible in this situation. I don't think they're as good as Carriers, though. Carriers, if you already have your Storm and everything, there's not, you can't really transition to anti-carrier all that well against this army. So that would be kind of cool if he does go for that, but we'll see. Can just be a safety precaution as well. Sometimes you just get the tech in case they go into Broodlords. You can go into Tempest right away.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to. Well, here come forward all those Lurkers. Some decent Storms out there, but that is a fairly entrenched position.
Yeah, especially because he lost the Phoenixes. It's great that he tagged this and can see it all, but he can't engage it. It's too many Lurkers. If he had the Phoenixes and he comes in from behind, lifts them all up, Armani wouldn't even attacked if all those Phoenixes were still in the game, basically.
A great Zealot harass off to the back of this, but it's still having to find some way to deal with all these Lurkers pushing forward. Some actually very good Storms on top of them, but it's not enough to thin the numbers. Oh no! Are you kidding me?
That's crazy.
How does that work? That's the second time I've ever seen that used offensively. That's insane.
Did Trap hit that? I think the Lurkers killed that.
The Lurker spines. It's Lurker suicide, Artosis.
Yeah, we just saw a mass Lurker suicide. This is so crazy.
Oh my God. Dustin Browder knew it all along.
Oh, this is so cool.
That's sick-ass foresight
What a
there.
cool game. By the way,
oh my God.
Yeah, the Mothership and Tempest in the way, and actually early on this patch, one of the unit comps that a lot of Koreans were trying out was actually lots of Archons, some Size Storm, and Tempest, and it's a very good comp overall against Zerg, even with the lowered against ground range. So kind of cool to see Trap bringing this back. I'm really liking the flavor of his PVZs so far today.
Wow, all right, rolling in. Here comes some Banelings. Now, there are cannons here, which will thin the numbers, but plenty moving forward. 11 probes go down.
Yeah. That +2 on Banelings, one shot in probes makes it brutal indeed. But we don't have any anti-this tech. Like, I haven't seen any Vipers yet, which can be very good against things like motherships. Of course, you have to watch out for feedbacks, but
Yeah.
this is a scary force by Trap.
The only upgrades on the way are for ground units, which, well, not a lot of them will shoot up. I mean, he does have a few Hydras left over, but most of those return into Lurkers. Nothing.
Oh,
my
man.
God, that's I don't know, trying to take down. I guess like the demolition project a little bit too dangerous. So I'm just gonna file a. I forget what the form is. The OSHA.
You're asking me about a form.
I mean, I'm not in America, so I'm not even sure what form you file for that anymore. Either way, the Zealots have some back pay coming their way. Still getting work done with them. Consistent run-bys, lots of great harassment has been happening in the back, but the real thing to focus on was that Lurker push getting pushed back kind of by itself.
Yeah.
And now that puts,
sabotaging itself there. Like, what? 4 Lurkers or so die there. That's so crazy.
That's actually so sick. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. Good storms coming down now. Mothership with decent cloaking, but there are plenty of Overseers to push this back. Are there enough storms? It certainly seems like they continue to come down, but there's just so much Zerg here. Even the Mothership's under fire.
Yeah, this is kind of a crazy move here by Armani, really showing off his macro, but the cost efficiency of Trap is far, far too high. Oh, this is brutal. He focused on the Mothership so much and still couldn't kill it off. That really hurts.
I think at this point, Armani's all but dead. He's got Lurkers there to defend any further pushes there from the ground, but I mean, they can't stop the air that's pushing forward. What is that, 3-4 Tempest and a Mothership still left over.
All right, he's finally got some Defilers, so he will go ahead and try to take this out.
Oh,
He gets it just before that recall goes off.
So close, and yet so far he's gonna have to work on rebuilding that all the way up. Carriers are on the way though, so even though this Protoss force is getting thinned out, there's more tech yet to come.
Yeah, he just pulled the bugs there, and that did not work off. When you're pulling the bugs against Archons, you know that you're in trouble. 48 of them going down.
Jeez, and if you just look at the worker count after that one, you can really see that one tell the score.
Yeah.
When you're down 30, 40 workers against a Protoss, not a fun place to be.
He's air toss too, so it's like the most cost efficient stuff you could ever fight against.
God.
Carriers even being added in. Trap looking magnificent. I think that Armani has played a good game, but a little bit too strong here, this end game unit composition against those Lurkers.
Wow, and as these first few carriers start to pop out, just building those very cost-efficient interceptors, like you said. I mean, Armani was the guy that used cost efficiency to his advantage in his game versus TY with the Swarm Hosts.
Yeah.
This time, the shoe, as they say, Artosis, is on the other foot. Unless you're a Zerg player, then you have at least 8 feet to choose from, and then how do you even buy shoes? That's just an economic crisis waiting to happen.
To be honest, Hydras don't even wear shoes. So
oh, that is true. Maybe it evens out.
They got a slither tail. I guess they could put a shoe on the end there, but that's. I don't think it's doing its actual job at that point.
Yeah, Adidas Hydra Edition is just not a great build order.
And since the most recent balance patch, they definitely took away the Hydra shoes because they no longer kick ass like they once did.
That is true. They can't actually kick at all, Artosis.
Yeah.
Losing an Immortal out there, going to get some free value. And actually a nice little grab on another one. Forcing out a Storm to kill those Zerglings, but still Immortal going down.
I can't express how much I like Armani Zerg. Look at what he's doing right now. He lost 48 drones in a pull. And instead of just attacking and saying GG, like many Zergs would do, he's pulling back. He's making actually even more Lurkers. He's trying to turtle up with Spines, with Spores. I think he has some Vipers in there still as well. I love this type of play out of him. He's doing the most likely thing to come back, which is make a defense where Protoss gets cost inefficient trying to finish you off, and it's probably not going to work. If he wins this game, this comeback is on par with what Dark did the other night. So it's probably not going to occur, but I love that he is trying this.
And Armani is really tenacious there. kind of reminds me of that Dido song, Thank You. It's like, it reminds me that it's not so bad. It's not so bad.
Well, there's no white flag above his door, buddy.
No, man, he's not giving it up just yet. He is hanging in there. So much static defense, lurkers, spines, spores, it's all coming down. Even these consistent zealot harassments being cleared up.
Do you see this? He just threw down a blinding cloud, screwed up the AI of all these ground units. The lurkers did massive damage. He's repositioning his spines and his spores. This is like fantastic play. And the thing is, Trap is playing well. He does a Warp Prism in the main base that a lot of the Hydras had to go, so he attacked because he knew the Hydras weren't there. And now he has to pull back because he was being cost inefficient.
That blinding cloud usage
Chills.
needs to be looked at another time, just because, I mean, I wish we had instant replay to just go back and check that out, because I've never seen it used quite so effectively. Like you said, the AI just like didn't know how to handle that, and all of a sudden everything just walks into lurkers.
Oh man, I am loving this so much. You know, a bunch of my new favorite players, like I am in love with Billowy, I'm in love with Nightmare, and I'm in love with Armani. And, you know, unfortunately for Billowy and Nightmare, they weren't able to make it through on their first Code S attempt this year. And Armani, maybe he won't make it through as well, but just looking at this play, this is a breath of fresh air. He has his own style, and it is fantastic to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Sky Toss is no joke. Like you said, very strong, very cost-efficient. But it feels like Armani at this point has managed to drive Trap back. He's recovered from, okay, I guess that was a misplaced hatchery.
Yeah,
so, okay, well, we all get one. Either way, he's managed to recover from that big drone deficit. Maybe actually, I don't want to say overcompensate. Actually, he stayed at 41 workers.
Yeah.
I guess you do need less as the game goes on, because you're gonna have less bases.
Yeah, I think he's having to skirt such like a difficult line right now. Just like staying alive, he has to make enough units. He has to put on little bits of harassment, have enough of these spellcasters, make enough static D, all that stuff. So just everything about his position is very difficult. And I still think he's basically dead, but I mean, he's really making a show of it. Ooh, he just pulled an Archon into a Baneling army.
I feel like
that part was off.
That's exactly where those Archons want to be. Yeah. These Zealots still getting a lot of work done. They're going to force either a cancel or a kill on that hatchery up there. So sooner or later, economy will start to come into play here. So that hatchery does get taken down. Cancel saves some of those minerals, but another good warp in there for Trap.
Yeah, this is going to really draw a lot of units back.
That's actually so many Zealots. Oh my god. They could actually just kill off, I guess, the Hive there in the back.
Dude, and this army is so scary. It's almost completely air units. Okay, that pull-in would be nice if he could kill it, but he actually doesn't have the damage yet. Okay, he gets it. That's a nice kill, but this is too many carries. You can't deal with that many carries with Hydralisks. It just doesn't work.
And in the meantime, you're going to eventually just lose your main, but okay, actually taking out several of those carriers, some good pulls in there will actually do a lot to thin out this Sky Toss force.
And look at this, the Lurkers are zoning out High Templars so that he can actually get Abducts down. Very, very fantastic.
Oh my god.
Armani is so good. This is awesome.
There's not so many interceptors there. He's actually target firing down individual carriers, which can be hard to click on when they are all clumped up. What is happening to the Sky Toss army? Trap is taking his hands off the keyboard.
This is craziness. I cannot even believe what I have witnessed here. Armani has cleared the Sky Toss army.
What?
These Tempests will die as well. Trap, yeah, he kind of just sat there. He's making 2 Immortals right now. 2 Immortals is not what you want to... Like, what a weird...
What happened?
What a wild thing that... I'm speechless.
I mean, you'll be able to see why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch before you'll be able to tell why that just happened. I mean, that is just not...
it's the sugar. It's the sugar.
Okay, well, I'm glad we figured that out, Artosis.
Yeah. An amazing effort from Armani.
I just don't... I mean, if every time I had to fight a Sky Toss army, I wish that happened.
But I think you're right that Trap not necessarily took his hands off the keyboard, but the game was, like, done, and he stopped trying with that Sky Toss army. His Zealots had ravaged basically everything else, right? It was... Armani did not have much to speak of. He could not remake an army. That was kind of weird, though. Our observer didn't show us that main base, I guess. I think the whole thing must have been taken out by the Zealot Warpin. But look, I'm a fan of Armani. Watching this type of play, the fact that he doesn't leave that game, he makes it difficult for Trap. At the end of the day, Trap wins, but wow.
I've never seen so much Sky Toss die so quickly. I'm just wondering what Armani has in store here for our second game, because I mean this is one game away from his elimination. He fought so hard, his 5th attempt to make it into the GSL Codes, and he is finally here. One game away from watching his dreams crash down around him. See if Trap can make it out in advance, or if Armani can fight back to get into game number 2 tonight's GSL.
In the top right, winning game 1 after a huge lead.
Jin Air Green Wings, Trap.
So you can't, like, I know I'm singing Armani praises a lot, and a big part of that is because he's a rookie. But this guy played fantastically to win that game.
Absolutely. I mean, when it comes to putting
Armani
in the position to lose so many workers early on,
Yeah.
all
Well,
planned.
after that first shade in where he lost everything just killing a few lings, I was like, ooh, that's a bad position. Then Trap pulled it together immediately with the Phoenix Adept, getting pretty massive damage done. But, I mean, there was really some cool moves by Armani there. And again, the reason why I like to point this out so much is people sometimes talk about the lack of new blood in the pro scene. It's not exactly true. It's just, it takes people years. Armani has been around. I've known who Armani is for years now. He's been up and coming. He's been on pro teams. The thing is, it just, to actually qualify is another story altogether. And it's very exciting to see a player like this, because you can absolutely watch these games and be like, you know what? Maybe by the end of this year, maybe next year, Armani could be a contender to win a GSL.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if he's finally making it into Code S after so long, after trying so hard, we're finally starting to see him get to the level where he can compete with some of the best players in the world here. At the now that the G stands for global, it is a truly global league.
Yeah, it does. It does in fact stand for global.
It's true.
Well, here we are, a little block on that natural Nexus a couple times, or a natural hatchery a couple times.
He goes back and he's like, okay, either he's all-inning me, or, and he actually did, just send out a second drone at the same time. He's already taken a second base, and that pro didn't even know about
Yeah,
it.
and he can just take his natural kind of at his leisure. Like, this is still kind of good for Protoss, it's longer travel time and stuff, but it's not the biggest deal in the world.
Every little bit counts, and we do see an unharassed natural expansion coming down.
Quite a fast Stargate from Trap. He's done pretty well with his Stargate plays so far. Really favoring that in this matchup so far.
Yeah, and we've, I mean, we saw the double star port Banshees come out, and I was like, okay, well, that's actually super weird focusing on that so much. I haven't really seen quite as heavy a commitment to Stargates going for anything too crazy. I've seen some effective oracles, but
Yeah.
even had that one double Void Ray game earlier on that looked pretty cool.
Yeah, there. You know, the Void Ray generally, that's not going to be something you mask in Zerg, but it's very good at stopping early rushes. And then, Phoenixes and Oracles, they're good in these small numbers. There are some, like, more wild out there builds. Like, there was a week where if you just made, like, 15 Oracles, you beat every
Oracles.
Zerg on the whole server.
Haz was like on the cutting edge of that.
Oh, yeah.
And he, I think I watched Dark lose like 5 games in a row to him on stream just to mass Oracles over and over again.
Oh, yeah, that was
my God.
a really funny week. My win rate in that matchup went through the roof.
Disgusting.
But, I mean, people got fix it up, get better against it and stuff like that. But, the old standards of Protoss remain. You get some flying units, force some harassment, pushing overlords out. It gives you a level of safety because Zerg anti-air early on is extremely slow. And, it allows you to kind of develop a regular game.
Yep, and already this Oracle just primarily scouting around. It's not going to find too much to pick off. No drones there at the natural, just now transferring.
Yeah. And actually, just to quickly talk about it, because this is, the builder scene, this should be Glaives coming out, I would imagine. This is actually,
they are.
Yeah, this is a really popular build in Korea right now. That you go for, just the flying units. That's going to kind of prevent roaches from being a problem and give you some harassment intel. And against flying units, you want things like Lings, for instance, or Hydras, and the Glaives do well against that, at least in the early parts of the game. But anyways, we were talking about Stargate units, how you just get a few and create nothing too crazy too out there. And I know that a lot in the foreign scene, there's a lot more carrier builds and stuff, but that just hasn't, like, people have tried it out here, and there are a few people that'll use it from time to time. You see Hush or Nightmare. Some of the more fringy Protosses will use it more often. Definitely saw Classic trying a few at, like, I Am Gyeonggi and stuff, but overall, like, Protosses are not favoring that here. Zerg will always answer it with a Hydra Bane timing attack, and that'll kind of decide the game each time. And the Protosses are not really liking taking that bet right now.
Currently we do have Glaives at least on the way, not going to complete for a little bit, but the Shade completing there for Trap. He is going to go forward and thin out some of these Zergling numbers, but he will actually lose a couple of Adepts before they are able to Shade out alive.
The thought there was to utilize the Oracle to really massacre the Lings, but there was enough Queens that came up, the Oracle had to be pulled back right away, so Trap evacuating as quickly as was possible. And,
wow.
Yeah.
And even with now all these Zerglings out on the map, sure those Oracles would be able to deal with them, but I mean that's going to kind of shift the map control, maybe just for a little bit. You're losing those early Adepts.
The Adepts coming down to block off any harassment on this third base. Has a very good amount of Adepts at the moment still, even after losing all those. Hydralisk Den Bailing Nest on the way.
Another nice Adept pick off. Every little bit counts here. And for Armani, that just every Adept that is lost is just more security saying, hey, I'm a Zerg player that is more effective the longer the game goes. Now I have to deal with less early harassment. And here comes up already an early investment into Hydralisks.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. Like, Hydra Bane can be really, really scary to play against. If you don't have that Psy Storm, you know, the Hydras outrange the Adepts, and then the Banelings will just roll in and really ruin their day. So that's something that we're going to have to see Trap deal with very soon.
Well, here come the Shades moving forward. Will he commit to this one?
Yeah.
He's going to see a lot of Banelings there, and he does! Oh my god, that's terrible! Right into all the Banelings, and these Adepts are all going to die.
That move that we saw, though, what Trap tried to pull off there, he actually sent them in 3 different shades. That was really cool, and my brain is racing, thinking of all the different reasons why that can be fantastic. Like, if you stifle them in, then Banelings are not going to hit all of them and stuff like that. So that was actually really a cool move that I bet you Trap works on a lot.
Ideally.
That's something I imagine we will see more of in the future in not just this matchup, but also in Protoss vs. Terran against Widowmines.
Yeah, that's just an idea that at least I haven't seen executed. And even though Trap might not have executed it perfectly, the thought is still there. You send the first 2 Adepts in. Sure, you're sending them into Banelings, but then they take out all the Banelings, and the next wave comes in.
Yeah, stuff like that can be cool. That's like blinking a Stalker on a Banes, right? That's the very simple version of that. But
yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure that's exactly what he was trying to do, but that was he did send them in 3 shifts, so that really, really neat. I love seeing new things like this.
Yeah, I thought that was like more single file, but it looks like it was just close enough to the Shade timings that they all still did blow up and die. And now with another morph of a bunch of Banelings here, I mean, this is what we've seen, I guess, Solar do primarily, but now even Armani knows this Hydra Bang timing, like you said, might just decide this game.
Yeah, it definitely could. We have High Templars up on this high ground. We don't have a lot to absorb Banelings, so he's going to have to primarily kill them with Storms. In fact, he's buying some time as some Archons make.
Yeah, those will be morphing. He's got Banelings just rolling here into the natural double overcharges, desperately trying to keep those probes safe.
Ooh, that's cool. Oh my god.
Oh my god, the sickest Storms! Archon soaking up the entire brunt of that attack.
Yeah, quite a few Banelings do get killed off there, so he hasn't hit those connects that he wants on top of these Zealots. If those Banelings aren't there, he'll win that battle.
Oh no, the Banelings are going to come out of that stasis ward, and immediately there they go. Actually, not as devastating as I thought. No, those take out all the High Templar!
Yeah, all you need is a few against that clumped up army, and now we see Trap in a world of hurt. GG.
What? Oh, wow. Armani out of there. Kind of an anticlimactic end there as those Baneling connections do decide it, but we Trap just, when he had to, stepped up.
You know what? This was a cool game as well. I'm really enjoying the series between these two. They seem very evenly matched. Well, I mean, that can happen to you right there. It was a good unit composition, done very timely there by Armani. And, Trap maybe, I don't know, the amount of adepts he made and as he attacked in, I wonder if maybe there were a few mistakes with his trades because he didn't really have the exact army he needed to deal with all that at the end, unfortunately. Tough game, though.
Yeah, it's nice to see at least some questions being, thrown out there. Like, is every attempt that Trap makes at a movement just always correct? Well, no. Some of the things, some of the ideas are correct. They're cool to think about, but not always great on that execution, losing all those early adepts.
Yeah.
Armani punished.
Yeah, and, PvZ right now is in a little bit of a fluctuating state as well. I mean, the whole metagame is fluctuating for Protoss at the moment overall as everything kind of gets figured out. There's like a lot of conflicting styles and stuff. But anyways, it's really cool to see Trap's different ideas. I did love that Stasis Ward in the mineral line to stop Banelings. That was really cool.
And then the Banelings unstasis and still do damage, but not as much.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
A cool idea. I think maybe we might see that a little bit more in the future. Might see some of those staggered shade techniques in the future. So
yeah, the staggered shade thing is really interesting. I've been thinking about stuff like that, like especially when you're trying to fight against Widowmines in an army. Like maybe you could utilize it with that somehow, but it's kind of a complicated and hard to micro thing. So we'll see how much we see moves like that evolve in the future. But as the players continue to get better and better and better, we will see more crazy moves like that you're going to be like, oh, now I have to learn how to do this.
Yeah, and even in some of the like post-team, state that we live in out here, we still do have guys like Armani, like Solar, still in team houses, kind of training with even just some of their best friends, and they're still developing techniques like this, still improving, and still trying to win huge tournaments like the GSL and even WESG. During all of guys like TY's competitive career, he was unable to do that, and now he makes it all the way. So who's to say a guy like Armani, now that he's just so up and coming, can't do the same thing?
I would love to see Armani do very well. The thing is, if he beats Trap here, that's another Protoss down, and if he beats Solar's like one of the guys you want to see at least round of 8 because he is one of the very best in the world. So would be rough, but we'll see. He has to beat Trap here first. Our Protoss player in the top right.
Jin Green Wings, Trap.
He's got to show us a strong game here on Whirlwind if he wants any chance of making it to the next round.
His opponent, the Zerg player, it is Haute Couture. Armani. They're, you gotta say, he has been looking pretty good. They're not just the joke on his name, but also, the play, his background, it doesn't.
Look, anytime you say he's looking pretty good, you have to say he looks Gucci, okay?
Yeah.
This is actually very important.
But it's competing branding.
Yeah, that's why it's so funny. Don't you get it? No, man. Look at this, 4-player map. This has to be a little bit frustrating.
Yeah,
he scouts you first and blocks you again.
Yeah, right as I say he looks good, the caster curse kicks in and he misses his hatchery timing. It was just like a second too late.
Oh, well. Well, he's making his hatch at his third base. It is towards the Protoss, so what can you say?
Doesn't actually, he doesn't know that it is towards the Protoss, but didn't really have too many, options at that point. So a little bit inconvenienced, but still able to get the hatchery down, and he'll probably be able to throw down his third, not too far behind schedule.
I wonder if we might see Armani mix it up and do something a little bit cheesy. He's played such strong macro games that I would not blame him at all if he wants to go into a pure macro play from here and try to outplay Trap on Whirlwind, because I think that is actually a doable thing for him with the skill and quality he's shown. But Trap each game is going for like quick Stargate and stuff, not a full wall. There are some holes that he could possibly try to abuse.
Some literal holes in his wall offs that have just looked kind of sloppy. The Zealot goes there. There's a place to put it. Everybody knows that you've done it a million times, but when it comes down to professional competitive play like this, where it actually does matter, gotta shore up those little tiny things because they can
Yeah.
definitely turn into big things as
Totally.
Armani has made
If he had
happen.
played this many PVZs on the ladder
Yeah.
right now and we were watching with these builds, he would have died to some sort of weird Zergling all-in by now.
Yeah.
Just because he is not walling right away. But Armani does take that third hatchery. Doesn't look like he wants to get aggressive. And again, I don't blame him at all for this. His macro looks at least on par with Traps as far as the macro play goes.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, you can't even really say, oh, here's the one thing that is so bad about this guy. No, he's actually just pretty solid all around. But it does take more than that to advance through to the further rounds of the most competitive StarCraft tournament in the world. So definitely going to have to step it up and really prove why he is the player that it deserves to advance on in round of 16.
All right. Well, Overlord's speed on the way, so he's going to know exactly what's going on. It's 3-gate adept with Glaives. Trap will probably follow this up with 2 Stargates very, very soon, like any second here. That's something we've seen him do already in this tournament.
Observers pointing out that, yeah, you will need a little bit extra to make sure that this time that wall is tight. And so Armani's probably just going to by default check this, but turns out 3 adepts. Yeah, that's probably going to do it.
All right, here come the 2 Stargates that we were talking about before. Did he cancel Overlord speed? Oh, no, he didn't. Okay,
Nope.
It finished. So that's actually quite good. The Overlord speed will not only show him this. Okay, he only saw 1. He should be checking for 2, though. Yeah, okay, he turns around.
And
Okay,
there
you
it is. Okay.
go. Yeah, this will keep more Overlords alive against this style, and he knows that it's coming. Glaives into double Stargate Phoenix. So this is like, he has all the intel in the world. He should be able to block this without taking too much damage.
Yeah, super standard, so he's going to have the experience of played against this, knows exactly what to do, and it's just putting on the littlest amount of pressure. Okay, he actually had an opportunity to run by there where that Zealot walked out.
Yeah, and he actually did. He runs by and goes towards the main base. I don't... Okay, he has a couple
Okay,
of adepts. I was like getting scared there. Oh my god, that would have been bad.
Yeah, if those 2 adepts were not at home, things get very, very bad. And even still running back into the natural, going to be able to get some damage done, but on the other side, our Trap is just getting value after value. So many adepts there. They kill off the Queen, they kill off all of those Zerglings, and now, I mean, what does Armani really have to respond?
Ooh, yeah, he's like attacking in with a few Speedlings. He's... I don't know. There are some Roaches on the way and a lot more Lings. But
I mean,
this
hatchery's
is
down below half health. He's going to have to go now or never, pushing back, poking these adepts back away. They will shade, though, but needs to engage with all of his Zerglings at the same time. And even then, some of these shades will be able to finish.
Oh.
Oh, wow, he actually doesn't go for it.
He's
Okay.
going to kill him with this. This is too much. Like, he's lost so many Zerglings. He's making more Roaches. But with the Phoenix is coming out, he's going to start to gain even more damage.
Yeah, he's going to lift the Roaches there, and even though that one Phoenix is in range of that Spore Crawler, it just doesn't matter at this point. There's just too much on the ground. Glaive upgraded adepts just kill your stuff so fast.
Yeah. Wow. You know, because he had so much intel and then still was unable to block this. This is one thing just to throw out there. If this was the third base on the bottom left, this would have been a little bit easier for him to hold on
Very
against.
true.
But not that big of a deal. Adepts move very, very quickly. I don't think that costs him. But anyways, GG. Armani unfortunately going out last place, but he lost 1-2 against TY, 1-2 against Trap. I think he can't be completely disappointed in his play tonight. I think he played very well.
No, absolutely. The ability to take games off of some of the best gamers in the entire world is very, it's very commendable, and so not too shabby if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
Name yourself a nice name.
Great.
Definitely had the play to back it up.
Great execution by Trap. And this was actually, I'm kind of getting a little bit of chills, like going back over pieces of this game in my head. I think that one of the crucial moments, this is kind of interesting, like the Speedlings at the natural of Trap. Okay, we'll go to a break. I'll talk about it afterwards, but it's like a really cool idea. You're going to love it. We'll be right back.
당신의 꿈은 무엇입니까? KT요! 기가!
대표 일성의 완성.
이런 멤버가 다시 모일 줄은
이재동 선수예요. 김태경 선수 만나보겠습니다.
모여가지고 다시 게임 할 수 있다는 것에
기가급 특급 매치 결승전 경기만을 남겨두고 있습니다. 네! BK 스타즈입니다.
정말 기쁘고요.
KT업 기가
캐시는 마음이 무너져 내린 사람에게 내린다. 던전 앤 파이터 여프리스트 업데이트.
그래서 오늘 두 분이 경쟁을 하는 거예요.
부산 전체를 돌아다니면서 저희가 7개의 시청자 여러분들 다 뿌리도록 하겠습니다. 4번이요. 도쿄, 넌 내 거야. 짱! 4번. 오케이! 정답입니다! 아, 예! 운도 좋아, 운도. 광을 뵙겠다. 가자.
저희 입수하러 갈게요. 저희는.
여기요, 여기요. 여기요.
365일 누구나 배달 음식 할인. 여기요.
던파 역사상 가장 강력한 스킬을 경험하라. 3D로 깨어난 던전 앤 파이터 홈. 지금 모바일로 다운받으세요.
그런데 스노우앱 하면은 가장 좋은 기능 중에 하나가 실시간으로 적용되는 아이템. 나마띠. 스노우앱 기능이 어마무시하죠 진짜로? 원판입니다. 로모띠. 저한테 채팅으로 보내주시면 치킨 5마리를 뿌리겠습니다 시청자분들.
로이조바 상해요.
아 급식이야? 와 센스!
내가 우리 사전에 초청했다고.
실시간으로 친구들이랑 가족들이랑 이제 사진 보내주고 같이 함께 꾸미면 더욱더 이쁜 스노우에
질서와 수호를 위해서라면
마귀 화염이
누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주지.
던파 역사상 가장 강력한 스킬을 경험하라. 3D로 깨어난 던전 앤 파이터 홈. 지금 모바일로 다운받으세요.
둘이서 쓸 수 있어. 귀엽지 않아요? 여러분? 오. 된다. 안녕. 붕어빵 사세요. 그거를 한번 볼까? 지금 나 혼자 신난 거니 혹시? 이거 귀엽다. 찍어도 되나? 진짜 예쁘다 근데.
일주일 내내 뭘 먹어도 배부른 할인. 여기요.
부산지도 아닙니까 이거? 와.
7군데를 다 돌 거예요. 1번부터 7번까지 취득을 해서 시청자분들한테 나눠줄 수 있어요.
이야. 아 자갈시장 도쿄. 도착했어요 자갈시장. 오우. 자 나오세요. 자 가면서 나오시고 2시간. 야 이겼다. 이번에 이겼어. 콜 먹어서.
바깥으로 나가야 될 것 같은데 일단.
클래스 있다면 4번. 아 좋아요. 타이페이죠 타이페이. 광안리.
괌이다.
괌. 야, 이건 크다. 부산 분들 위주로 좀 드리면 될 것 같아요, 내장. 오.
Welcome back. GSL Code S. Just saw Trap take out Armani in actually a close, nice series. I did want to just mention real quick about when the Lings hit the core and the Zealot was in the wall and he decided to move the Zealot out to attack. This was actually kind of an important moment. The Lings were up there, which means they weren't defending, which means that the Adepts could start to snowball if he handles this right. But if he loses the core, he can no longer reinforce the Adepts, which means that the attack ends as the Roach Horn finishes and another round of Lings are made. So letting the Zealot out to force the Lings off the court, even if it's going to let them into his mineral lines temporarily, was actually a very good choice by Trap. And I think that's a hard one to make, and I look at that, and I don't think I would have made that choice myself. And I just, upon further reflection, I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's actually pretty advanced. It never feels good to say, hey, let's let the Zerglings into my undefended mineral line. But
better than losing that core.
Yeah, you got to have your priorities straight, and saving the core was the right one. So, I mean, this time we get a chance to see a Zerg that did not live up to the challenge. But coming up next, we've got Solar, a guy that pretty much everyone would have expected to make it out of the group, either in first or second. A Zerg of a different color, if you will. He's wearing the Splice yellow, and he's going up against one of the few green players out there. Jin Air Green Wings, a dying breed of team, but here's Trap left to represent them and see if he can be one of the few Protosses on a team to make it through.
Yeah, his teammate SOS has made it through already, so he is definitely hoping to join him up there. Otherwise, the Green Wings have a 50% advancement rate, which maybe not as high as they would like here. But look, this is going to be a tough one. Solar already beat Trap. Then he got to watch Trap kind of pushed pretty hard by Armani, right? So Trap had to show a lot of his builds, a lot of his skill there, and I think Solar has a good idea of Trap's range at the moment. So what is Trap going to bring us in this third PvZ of the night?
Well, we'll have to find out, Artosis. This is our final game. If you have friends that are not watching, get them in here, because it all comes down to this: Trap versus Solar in our last game of the night, tonight's GSL round of 32.
In the bottom right,
Jin Air Green Wings, Trap.
I don't know if I'm just narcissistic, but I only hear my voice in a lot of these.
No, I only hear your voice in some of them too. His opponent,
Splice, Solar.
That one I actually hear the combo.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. We'll have to somewhere out there.
Gary said I'm the best, anyways. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, Yuri said also a lot of other things. So big fan of having her on the show. If you guys enjoyed that, if you guys don't know what show we're talking about, it's called The Bunker, that one building you won't see in this series because there's no Terran. Okay, I'm trying to figure out, we're like trapping the solar energy from the sun.
It looked like it was shooting the sun.
Is that the symbol for a transistor? I'm trying to remember my electrical engineering, and it's not coming back to me. But somebody out there knows and can tell me what was going on there. Either way, yeah, this series is talking about something. I was going to do a plug for our show, The Bunker, but that's like in absolutely no way related.
It's completely related.
I mean, it is actually related.
Definitely check it out. Half hour before GSL Code S each night.
And while we're at plugging things, definitely check out the ASL finals that are happening tomorrow.
That is going to be so much fun. It starts at 5 p.m. KST, so it's 2 hours earlier than the regular ASL time. It's going to be God himself, Flash, the greatest gamer of all time, the greatest Brood War player of all time, in yet another finals. And he's going up against C, a highly respected, fantastic Terran who has never made it to a finals. So that is such a big deal. This is such a... what a giant thing for C, who's been a pro gamer for like 400 years.
Yeah, and it's going to be at Yonsei University, so right in the middle of Seoul. So not...
Good area.
Yeah,
you
great
live
area.
Actually right down the street from it.
I can see it from my apartment way on top of the hill. So it's a great location for me. And if you guys are here in Korea, definitely make sure to come down to that. Okay, plug time is over. Time to get into our last series, Trap versus Solar. We've already got our first openers underway.
Yeah, I think it could be like an Archon drop coming up, that Twilight, and the fact that he's making a Stalker that can push away scouting. And if you push away the scouting, sometimes you can catch him off guard with those DTs, but we'll see if that's actually what he's up to at the moment. It could be any number of things that he wants to be sneaky about.
Yeah, it's trying to see if the Zergling can eventually escape. It's going to get caught up to by that shade, but here comes the Stalker just to usher out that Overlord right as the Zergling comes in and sees...
Yeah, he sees a Robo, and even the Robo is a little bit telling that this could be an Archon drop on the way. I think it will be. He's just waiting for the money, I think. Because when you make that,
check it out.
when you make the Stalker, you actually have to make the Dark Shrine a bit later because that's extra gas that you're normally not spending with a build like this.
Let's see. I think he will actually be able to take that out. Actually, no, just kidding. Setting in some distracting Zerglings. Save the Overlord's life, and they're going to get in. What is it with Trap and his walls, man? This guy would never be president of America.
And that's because he wasn't born there.
Very true.
Because I would
he's
totally
not old
vote.
enough.
I would totally vote for him.
I'd vote
Protoss
for
president
Trap, man.
is so sick. But really, it would be MC, right?
I mean,
who would get
he's
that?
basically already the president.
Yeah, president of Protoss. Well, anyways, this gets fully scouted. It's not the biggest deal. It makes it more likely that he'll make Archons instead of even trying to poke with the DTs, because it just kind of saves him time and gets the damage done more quickly.
Right.
But, yeah, this is still basically one of the most popular ways to play this matchup in Korea. So Solar's going to be very used to this and know exactly how to counter it.
So yeah, already you're going to see Spores start to come up. He knows exactly what's coming his way. It's going to defend dually against things like the Warp Prism flying in on top of it or detecting the DTs. But it is probably just going to be those Archons. We'll have to see what he has in store to deal with that. Already just going to be warping in those DTs.
Okay, you know what? I love this. Look at this. Solar is hitting the third base immediately because he saw Trap do this already, and he knows that he takes a super fast third with this. He gets the pylon, which means DTs can't get there as fast. He might get a cancel on this Nexus. This was because Solar got to watch Trap do this already. This is the power of being in that winner's match.
Yeah, and you're going to get the advanced notification. You're going to see things exactly like this. He's actually going to invest in getting this cancel on the Nexus. It's ticking down slower and slower as these lings
If he
get
gets this cancel,
off.
it is so big.
Oh, he doesn't
man.
finish it off. I think he actually would have just been barely short, so probably best to just save those Zerglings.
Yeah. But look, that is the most perfect example because this is something Trap already did. Like, I just love what we are seeing here. This is part of why StarCraft is so amazing. To see these guys actually adjust to each other.
Oh no!
Through the night. Oh my God.
Okay, well I don't love seeing stuff like that. Either way, here come back the Zerglings. He's got more this time. Might need to pull the probes to try to stop this. There are substantially more, and Zerglings just threatening. Might get a few probe kills for their effort.
Well, definitely better to let some probes die than to lose that command center, or that Nexus rather. To have that actually killed off this point would be brutal. The Archon drop coming in. Not exactly where he wants to drop. It looks like he's multitasking a bit right now, but that is a hell of a lot of roaches. Speed is about to finish. You know what? He's going to get that third no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, that many roaches, that Mothership Core can fire at them as much as they want, but here comes actually an Immortal joined by a bunch of Zealots and Stalkers. If those get caught out on the map, that could just be game over, but
oh my God.
What could definitely be game over is about 8, is that 8?
That's a lot of charge lots, whatever number it happens to be, going into this main base. Good micro on those drones trying to screw everything up for him. His Zealots actually kind of get caught behind, and Solar's defense here is fantastic, but do you know what? Like, that's okay because Trap got him to pull back. That attack that was coming in for him, I think I'm almost 100% sure he could have sniped that third base at very little cost.
Well, and the Archon's still going to town here. They're going to be perfectly microed, still on the map, out there being a distracting force, which inevitably does save that third.
Oh, you know, this is really these two fighting tooth and nail against each other right now, using every little trick in the book. Solar starting to move out once again. Oh, God. Ooh. That is not the armor that you want against those roaches right now. Some DTs being warped in. Oh, he doesn't have detection up here right now.
I think he does have... no, there's no spore in that middle line.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay, there is one behind it. But at least one DT going to get there into the natural.
Maybe not even aware that there wasn't a spore in that main base. He leaves one DT to go back in later, but now it does have detection.
Now. Yeah, and immediately you're going to start to see drones start to fall, losing a couple, but here comes this big engagement. Solar pushing forward, trying to find something before those DTs are too much to deal with.
Yeah, okay, with more Zealots coming up, he turns around and decides it is time to fight against this. Still has an Immortal in here dealing massive amounts of damage, but he will have to pull back. He needs more units than this. This is a really scary army.
Yeah, and Immortals are not retreating units. They are slowly crab walking their way away, or it is, and it does actually stay alive thanks to some great force fields, but not for long. And with that Immortal falling, no matter how effective those DTs are in the back, this push is just going to do it. Solar hitting a brilliant timing. Takes out Trap in game 1.
You know what? This was very well done by Solar. Like, so much of this, I feel like, comes down to the fact that he knew what Trap was doing with the fast third base. Getting it down that low, I think that Trap was panicking a little bit, working on those Zealots in the main base to make him pull back. I don't know why Trap was that far out on the map with that small army. Because when Solar already had that many roaches and whatnot, it's not like he's just going to sit back and make drones from there. So I feel like that might have been a little bit of a mistake. If he's sitting back in a more defensive posture, the roaches can't really get in, you know?
Yeah, he doesn't lose those Immortals retreating for free. He's in a better spot, maybe even with high ground advantage, pylons to overcharge. The defense, especially of that very weakened third, would have definitely been a better place to be instead of out there on the map losing your stuff.
Some force fields on the ramp and stuff, and, you know, I feel like this game continues onward, but... Well, Trap loses game number 1. We're going to go to Newkirk Precinct next. Can Solar close it out, or will Trap bring us to a game number 3?
Jin Air Green Wings, Trap.
Is our first player. Our Protoss representative very close to making it out of his group. His opponent, a maybe favored player, but of course does have to win his games to prove that. This is
Splice, Solar.
Okay, Solar is going for a really quick spawning pool here. And this, look at this, he's sending the drone down to pretend he's taking a hatchery. Like, this, again, Solar is going to straight up 2-0 Trap from watching Trap play enough PvZ tonight.
He's just so smart.
Yeah, he's like completely planned for everything. He's such a brain. Do you see this? He's faking so hard. Solar is not making a hatchery. Now finally he's going to check, and he's going to go, uh-oh. That natural takes a lot of buildings wall. You basically need like 3 gateways and a pylon in the wall to close it off for a Zealot to hold it.
And he's got one less because his pylon's in the natural of his opponent instead of his own.
This is really tough for him. Well, he's going to make the core, and then he's going to need an additional gateway here to make sure that he can hold on. But then the Lings are going to start attacking the Cybernetics core, and you have to start microing at the wall. This is... It's a tough hold for Trap to do perfectly.
Wow, well, we'll get a chance to see it. It's nice to see Solar kind of switch things up, like you said, basing his play off of just seeing what Trap has in store. And really, for Trap, there we go. Had to fix that for a second. For Trap, he's not an easy player to scout because he just doesn't have that many public games played. He's in the team house practicing away, unlike most Koreans who are out there showing off their strategies. No, Zealot, you cannot block that entrance no matter how hard you try.
You know, yeah. Well, This is actually part of his plan. This was actually a very good defense. I thought for a moment there that he might just try to make a full wall, but because there's no speed, he's really not that scared as long as he gets some units out. And just pulling those probes made sure his pylon couldn't get sniped. So, you know what? Great job there by Trap on that defense. I thought that this build by Solar was actually going to do a lot better against him overall, but this was like amazingly good crisis management and micro and understanding of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, a different situation. Maybe that probe does get denied from heading into the main base, and he actually could just die from that earlier, more aggressive opener by Solar. But I mean, it's not going to end the game right there. He's just going to have